Welcome back. In this video, we are going to talk about holding the current score. So about this button, okay. And let's now take a look at the flow chart here. So here, as you can see, the user hold score, hold button, right? So when we click the hold button, so it should add the current score to the total score, and then for now, so forget about this scenario. We'll get back to it. So let's add current score to the total score, and then we'll switch the player, and then later we'll add this score part back again. So how does this hold button works is it adds the current score to the total score, and it checks for this constraint. If it is yes, the current player wins. If it is no, then it goes and switches the player. So let me just show you the demonstration. Here when we roll the dice, see, we are holding the value. So we are holding the value, as you can see here. 13 is holding into this player 1 and then switches to the player 2. So when we roll the dice again, see, we hold the value again, it is switching here. So this is the functionality of the hold button, where from the current value here it holds to the player 1 value and it adds on, and then it passes to the next player. So this is how this hold function works. So here when it reaches the 100, player reaches 100, the player wins. But of course it takes a long time. I am not be showing to you. This is the functionality of the hold we are going to do now, and later at the end of the part we'll do. See, like this we'll do. When the player reaches about 20, automatically player wins and the game stops. Here I am setting here the constraint to demo 20 only. Now let's implement the logic we have here, okay? So we want some things to happen when the user clicks on this hold button, okay? Let me just write here, okay, button hold dot add event listener. Click, when it is clicked, we need the function, right? So here we need 3 scenarios. First one is uh, add the current score to active players. So, and in the second point, let's check if players player score is less than or equal to 100. In this condition, we have sub condition when we finish the game, and switch to next layer. So these are the conditions we are going to implement in this video. So let's just put that like this in the quotations. So in the first condition, let's add the current score to the active player score like I shown you, right? So here we do the coding. So let's say in the first case, we need the score 1 plus score 1, which is equals to the current score. So instead of writing this way, we will write the code dynamic way like this. So why we have selected here active player? Because in the active player we are setting here it is 0, right? So it sets initially the score 0 and then it adds up these scores, and here they will be storing, here they will be checked into the current. So as we change the score, we need to display it. So we do it in the similar way as we did above by selecting based on active players. So let's write that as well. document dot. Here we won't be using query. We will get used by get element by ID. And then equals to scores of active players. So let's say that. Basically, here in this code, what we did here was it is very similar to selecting the active player. So as you can see, these codes were very similar in the index. See, current dot zero here we are selecting, right. So that's what we did here in our code. As you can see here. So we are just changing the active player from current player 1 to current player 2, right? As you can see here, we in this whole thing, we need to just call it out here again, right? So because after checking the current score, we need to toggle to the next player, right? So in order to don't repeat yourself to make our code dry. So let's put this in the function. So let's copy this here out here, and then here we'll say constant. We'll declare new variable switch player. So here we'll say function, and in this function we'll declare this. Okay, here we'll remove everything, and then here we'll call out this switch player function so that it executes the same way. So in our case as well, switch to next player we need to do, right? So here we'll also call the switch player. So let's go ahead and save it again. Let's roll the dice. See, hold function is hold button is working, but it is not holding the value in the player 1 and player 2 here. But when we hit the hold, it is changing to the next player. So basically the switch here, it is working. So let me just go here and console.log. Here we'll say hold button. So we are checking why here the code is not working. So let's inspect the page. Here we'll go to the console. So we'll roll the dice. Let's hold it. See here the hold button is working. Okay. The hold button is working. After this line, again we'll write console.log. Here we'll say scores of active players. So we'll see if it is working or not. We'll roll the dice. We'll hold it. See, the value is coming here, but it is not getting hold. Yeah, that means we have did something wrong here. Yeah, actually we found out that. So when you see here the index, so here we want it to be the score, right? Not the current score. So not the current 0. So let's just change it here. We are not current, it should be score. Okay. Let's save it. Let's roll the dice. Let's hold it. See, it is holding now. As you can see. See, now it works exactly fine. So now our game should be almost done. Still few things are left to be done. They are one, we haven't yet switched to the next player here. So right now we hold the score. We are not switching. So we are not checking if the score is greater than 100. But for now, let's leave that checking. If the score is 100 and player won the game, we'll see about that at the end. For now, let's keep switch to the next player. So basically, up until now, we are done with execution of this holding the score from the current to the main score. So the hold button works. The current value it is holding, it is sending to the main scoreboard. Okay. So this function here add the score to the active player score. Up until now, it is done. So let's now go to the final part. which is when points reach 100, the game should be over. So we should now be able to click any of the buttons. And so we want to assign a special class to the winner player and to make it really obvious that player has won. So here we'll start by writing the code. If the scores of active players which is less than greater than or equal to 100, we are setting here as a constraint, right? Then we finish the game and then we'll switch the next player, right? So that we'll keep it inside the loop, not outside. Now here we'll write document dot query selector of player, active player, and then class list. We add player winner. So we have to add, and then again later we also need to remove, right? So this else block, right? So what code we have written here is, so when the player reaches above 100 or reaches 200, so officially we finish the game, right? We don't want our player active player, see, as you can see here, see, player active, right? So we don't want this player to be active when player is won. So what we are doing here is basically add the player winner, and then in the next case when the player winner is added, we should also remove this player active, so then only it works. Okay, so in the else case, if this true, then here we should not switch to any player. If it is not true, then only we will switch to next player. Okay, so let's see that. Let's roll the dice. Let's hold. So in our case, we can't play till 100, so it takes a lot of time. So I'm here simply just setting here to 20. Later we'll change that to 100. So let me just say hold, hold. See, it reaches 20, right? So right now it will add in our class. See, let me just inspect and show that to you. See here, the player active class needs to be removed, and then it should add this add player winner. Okay, so as you can see, it is not working because we just forgot to add here. So we are calling out by class name, right? So class names, when we are calling out by query selector, they need to be right. So let's just play the game again here. So initially, see here, the player is active. When we roll the dice, hold. See, it reaches 20, so the game is terminated because the player is winning here, player 1. So as you can see here, we added a class player winner and it was removed player active. So this works. So this is the case we have written, we have set here to constraint 20. So when it reaches 20 or above, this player 1 is won. So see, but still here the dice function, this works, but it doesn't switch. So we'll set that in a bit. See, right now our code is also switching when it reaches the one dice, it is moving. So let me just show you. Here we have a bug in our code. See, here both the player is getting win, right? So in order to overcome this, let's write a code here. So as we play, both the games wins. So for this problem, I think the easiest solution is check a variable that hosts the state of a game. So it tells us a condition of a system. In this case, condition will be player be playing or not. So if the game is playing, then we click these buttons. As soon as the game is finished, we'll say the game no longer playing and then no longer click on the buttons. Okay, let's implement that. So for that, let's just go ahead and say here let playing equals to true. So here we are assigning in the boolean values. So for the main logic, so here rolling dice function you have seen, right? So up until till here, this is the main function, right? So we'll loop this in the main function. So this is the main function, right? So we'll loop this in if playing, then we'll put it inside. Okay. So we are not passing here any constraint in the if because it is a boolean value. Okay. Here we are set to true, right? If it is true, then only execute this statement. Okay. We are setting like that. So then again in the bottom as well, we'll do the same thing. So here also inside this, we'll just copy if play, then only execute this statement. Okay. So when we finish the game, here we'll set a constraint that playing is false so that it doesn't get executed. Now, as soon as one player will finish, so as soon as one player wins, we'll now finish the game and set this player to false so that the next time we click any of these buttons, here playing will be false and then none of this code is executed, and the same here for the button rolling dice. So I hope you are able to follow this logic. So let me just show you here in the demo. Hold. Here player 2 wins, and now we cannot click any of the buttons, so our logic is true. And also after these buttons were stopped functioning, and also we cannot switch to the next player, so our code exactly functions as we want. So up until now it works exactly fine. Now, and here we have one last thing. Let's get rid of this dice after we won the game. So after we finish the game, we don't want our dice to be popped up here, right? So we'll write here the code dice element dot class list dot add hidden. So let me see that, and then we remove it. All. See, player one wins, right? So as you can see, after player wins, here there is no dice here. So this works perfectly fine. So with this here, the dice is gone. So we are almost done in this project. All of here there is left to do is to implement the new game button. So we'll do that in the next video. That's it for this video.